The price of war. Now, much of the news out of the Middle East is about violence and conflict, and we've discussed that in this special look at the price of war. But there are some bright spots of business cooperation amid all the gloom, and Rob Reynolds recently visited one of them in Irbid, Jordan.
It just might be Victoria's best-kept secret. In a noisy garment factory deep in the Jordanian desert, hundreds of conservatively dressed Muslim women are busy making some highly untraditional products. Scanty panties and lacy bras. What makes this factory even more unusual is that it's a rare example of business cooperation between Jordan and Israel, with a strong dose of American encouragement. The panty factory was built in 1997. 3 years after Jordan and Israel officially made peace. It's the brainchild of 35-year-old Omar Salah, a Jordanian businessman with an engineering degree from Purdue University.
I really felt at that time that there were a lot of opportunities that are going to come out of nations that were at war to come together and be at peace.
Today, Salah has 10 garment factories, part of the qualified industrial zone in northern Jordan. They make clothes for Gap, Banana Republic, and of course, Victoria's Secret. Salah says the arrangement has generated $400 million worth of exports. His Century Investment Group has over 5,000 workers, making it one of Jordan's biggest private employers. The pay is about $110 a month, a good job in a country with a 20% unemployment rate. This bustling factory represents a kind of alternate reality, a glimpse of what the Middle East could look like if all of its conflicts were somehow resolved. Even though Jordan and Israel are at peace, official relations are frigid, and commercial links are still extremely rare. But here, Israeli technicians work alongside Jordanian employees in the factories sewing cotton cut in Israel. And because the products include Israeli materials, at least 8% of the total content, they can be boxed up, shipped to a port in Israel, and exported duty-free to the United States under a special trade agreement. Also part of the deal, the labels, look closely, say Made in Israel.
The benefits are phenomenal. For Jordan to suddenly have the opportunity to sell to the biggest, most sophisticated market like the United States and sell products that appeal to the most sophisticated customers in the United States, it's a fantastic deal.
Salah says if Arab countries could work more closely with Israel, they could take advantage of its technological expertise, trade links, and sophisticated financial methods.
My vision is that we need to be able to exploit Israel's economic leadership to the benefit of the whole of the Arab world, and that it can, in fact, catapult us to a new reality very quickly.
But Arab-Israeli business cooperation is still a very touchy subject here. Eagle-eyed security men trailed us through the factory. We weren't allowed to talk to any of the workers, and company officials tried to prevent us from filming those Made in Israel labels. Salah says he's been harshly criticized for working with Israel, especially since the Palestinian uprising began 2 years ago, and he deplores Israeli government policies.
But I'm a businessman and I'm pragmatic, and I believe that if you create jobs and opportunity that changes the economic landscape of a country like Jordan, which very much needs it, that's something that is very personally satisfying.
A very unusual project in a highly unlikely place and a slightly unmentionable product, and yet a possible model for what might be in a more peaceful future.
We move now from intimate apparel to a slightly more bold business opportunity in the region, one that's visible from space. Tom Costello tells us about a $3 billion man-made island and what the developers plan to put on it.
Life in Dubai has always depended on the sea, but what they have planned for the Persian Gulf is so audacious, so bold, we had a hard time believing the mock-ups. A massive man-made island in the shape of a palm tree, home to 10,000 people. We were a bit skeptical, so we took a helicopter tour with Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem. And there, 3 miles out to sea, the largest man-made island in the world is indeed taking shape, with giant hydraulic pumps spitting mountains of sand into position. At the top, a huge barrier reef protects the project. And just below, the branches of a palm tree have already broken through the water. The tree trunk is just